Crimson Harvest 2025 brings a new event to this year's festivities, the Upwell Biocybernetic Incident Sites, rated from Class 1 through 3. Upwell has been up to some shady things to their employees, and something has gone terribly wrong. In CCP's own words, jump the Titan instead of bridge kind of wrong. Each site has the same general formula. Stay within the circle for 10 minutes, survive, taking out wave upon wave of enemies and shuttles that drop extra loot, and take out a squall at the end that seems to have been at the center of the incident. There are 3 classes. Class 1 can only be found in high sec and is geared towards Tech 1 frigates only. Class 2 can be found in all security bands, including wormholes and Pochfin, and are geared to accept Tech 2 frigates, Navy frigates, and Tech 1 frigates, as well as Navy and Tech 1 destroyers. Class 3 can be found in low sec, null sec, wormholes, and Pochfin, and can support up to Tech 3 destroyers. My information in this video covers how I run these sites of the Class 2 variety, the fit I am using, as well as how much I made during my grind. And I'll also include how much progress I made in my event track, and a deadly glitch to be aware of. All you need to do is travel throughout New Eden and find them in your probe scanner window. I have found that low sec produces the best results since there's less competition, and with some basic survival knowledge, like not warping between gates directly, and checking your route beforehand if any ships have died recently, and how, you'll make the most money as well. The objective is to orbit the cognitive calibration spire in the center of the circle at 500 meters, and keeping the unstable generators in reserve for the later Orthrus wave. These generators die to a single hit and hit for 4,000 damage at a 4,000 kilometer radius. I personally split my weapon so I can take out multiple ventures at once. Yes, it uses more on my crystals, but it gives me more flexibility and faster clear times overall, typically leaving me with upwards of a full minute and a half waiting for the final boss to spawn. Orbiting the central spire at 500 meters, I take out wave after wave of the ventures and garmers, prioritizing any shuttles that spawn. When a shuttle spawns, it only stays for 20 seconds and needs to be killed quickly. Otherwise, it warps away and you miss out on bonus loot. When garmers are present, I prioritize them over ventures. The general prioritization I aim for is shuttles, Orthrus, garmer, ventures. Each wave has a mix of 4 to 8 ventures and 1 to 2 garmers every 60 to 80 seconds. And by using a split weapon approach, it allows for a fast clear and good moments for downtime. I've found that the shuttle spawns occur roughly 4 to 5 times throughout the entire site, depending on how lucky you are. EM and thermal weapons seem to do the best against these ships. Laser weapons have an advantage that they can quickly swap to long-range ammo to take out shuttles that are far away and at risk of leaving. At roughly 375 to 400 seconds into the site, I recommend approaching the furthest synapse harmonizer from the 2 unstable generators. Keep this synapse harmonizer at range of 500 meters just to make sure you don't leave the circle. At roughly 475 seconds into the site, you will encounter the Orthrus wave. This wave includes an Orthrus and 8 ventures. Typically, you're still finishing up a prior wave, so you may have some leftover ventures and garmers from a prior wave. This is when you lock up the unstable generators and hit each of them. Because we kept the synapse harmonizer at range of 500 meters, we don't take any damage from the generators, and this is usually enough to clear the entire wave save for the Orthrus itself. By itself, it is not much of a threat beyond the warp disruption. Typically, the hardest part is over, and you'll have just a few ventures and maybe a shuttle spawn to clear up from here, and then the null prime subject will appear, the boss. In a missile squall, the null prime subject will immediately start trying to pull range from you. At this point, the circle disappears and you are free to move and chase down the null prime. Once it is taken down, you are free to loot and collect the rewards. There are 2 event path rewards that you can collect during each Biocybernetic site. 10 points for taking out 20 ventures, and 20 points for taking out the null prime. This means that each site is worth 30 event points. At the start of the recording, I was at roughly 410 points out of 900 for the event, and it took me 3.5 hours or so to get my points up to 800 out of 900. Please keep in mind that the event track will be extended during the final week of the event, with new challenges and rewards. Keep an eye out. This means for this event, if you are starting at absolutely 0 points, you will only need to complete 30 Biocybernetic sites of any class to clear the entire event track, roughly about 5 hours with perfect efficiency. The primary loot is in the form of cybernetic neural lattices that each sell to NPCs for 100k each. So each site is worth between 15 to 25 million ISK on average, but it has a high variability in booster spawns and the chance to drop consortium faction modules worth several billion. While I have not collected such billion ISK drops, other people have. This puts this activity at between 90 and 150 million ISK per hour at perfect efficiency. I collected about 300 million ISK, completing 13 sites, which put me at around the 23 million ISK average per site, or 138 million ISK per hour. Now, a word of warning. There is a well-known bug that occurs with sites like this that can cause these sites to have what's called a double or triple spawn. These occur if someone has started a Biocybernetic site and either abandoned or died in the site and never went back to clear it. When a site in this state stays in this state through downtime, it is effectively bugged and very deadly. These sites normally have their difficulty geared towards solo players who are good at managing on their own, but when someone warps to a site in this state, not only will the wave that was spawned originally remain, but the site believes it needs to spawn the extra waves, meaning you will face upwards of triple the amount of enemies your ship can normally handle. If your ship is not fast enough, you will die. Thankfully, while recording this footage, I found and was able to escape one site before disaster struck. Others were not so lucky. I was able to connect with a few players along the way and warn them to avoid that particular one, and I hope they spread the news to other players as well. As promised, here's the Retribution Assault Frigate fit that I am using here on screen right now. I've also included it in the description of the video. It's a modification of the WikiEarth Live Guide. I did forego a mobile tractor unit on this fit since it really limits my ability to collect loot, but if you're running these sites with a destroyer, you should have enough room to carry an MTU. It only added a minute to my time for each site collecting the loot, but that was worth it not needing to drop off loot so often and keeping me out longer. Thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members in the Thank You Plus tier. Your support keeps me going. Thank you Oldie Crow, Lady J, and Drythar Starthra. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend checking out this video here, the full adventure of my mainless mic Iron Man run. I think you'd enjoy it.